Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Chrissy, known as Chrislyn Tashari here on YouTube, and in today's video I will be doing a huge pantry refresh. I'll be reorganizing, decanting, and just overall deep cleaning the entire space. So there's a lot to do in today's video. I had quite a bit of food that I purchased. Most of the shopping I do is from Costco. We are a family of 5, and so it makes more sense for us to buy things in bulk. And the way my children eat, when they like something, they love it, and they eat like grown men. So I know it's really popular right now for people to have these aesthetic looking refrigerators and pantries. And although I do love a pretty looking space, I feel like most importantly, my pantry needs to function for our family really well. Like I said, I like to buy things in bulk. So that includes flour, pasta. It makes it so easy for me to go grocery shopping when I can see everything that I have out on display. When it's time to go grocery shopping, all I need to do is walk into my pantry and look at my shelves. I take a mental note of what's empty, and it just makes grocery shopping so easy. I've also got my shopping down to a science where, because I buy basics, I just always make it a point to buy them in bulk. I know exactly what type of items I like to have on hand. I like to keep certain items like canned corn, canned green beans for backstock, as well as different types of beans, black beans, pinto beans, refried beans. It's a good source of a vegetable protein, and it just lasts for such a long time. I also like to keep tomato paste and stewed tomatoes on hand. I just feel like after 2020, I realized how important it is to keep the basics in stock. And although I would prefer to buy like fresh corn, fresh green beans, it's just important to me that I always have canned on hand in case of an emergency. So I really like to keep these Kodiak cakes on hand. They're really easy to make, and the kids love them, and they're at the age where they can make their own breakfast. So pancakes is one of their favorite things to cook in the morning or on the weekends. But I want to get to the point where I'm not even buying this, that I'm just making it myself. I've made homemade pancakes before, but it's just not like routine for me. Like, you know, there's certain things that I know how to cook and make that I don't have to think about it. I don't need a recipe. I don't need to pull up the measurements of it. And I just don't have that down yet to my pancake mix. So having my pancake mix on display like this is kind of a reminder to me that I need to actually find a recipe and pre-make my own pancake dry mix with my own ingredients that I have, because I purchase everything in bulk, and switch over from the Kodiak cakes. I love the idea of them having the protein built into the pancake itself, but it's pretty expensive to buy. And as you'll see in the next clip, I already buy flour in bulk and baking powder and all of that other stuff. So it wouldn't take that much effort for me to make this switch. You'll also see here that I'm adding the flour to these 2 different containers. I no longer buy bread flour and white flour. I just buy this big bag here. I forgot the difference between the two. I don't know if it's something that you can switch up yourself. I think bread flour has maybe like 1 added ingredient, or it's got a higher protein content. There's something that's different, but it doesn't really matter. I just need the container, and this flour comes in 2 big bags like that. So I just need as much container as possible to house the flour. So as I said before, the first thing that I like to do after any grocery shopping trip is to decant all of the items that I have and put them in a container, if there's a container for them to go into. And then, these bananas here were black, like black, but they are perfect for making banana bread. So I put those to the side to do that. But yeah, so after I decant everything, then I like to go into the pantry and start restocking But in this case, because it had been a while, I really needed to wipe down the shelves. So I gave everything a really good cleaning and wiped down all the stains and stuff, or all the crumbs and stuff. There are a few stains that are on the plastic that don't come up, but it was absolutely worth it. When we first moved into this house, I took the time to line them with these plastic liners so that if I ever needed to, I could remove those, but I didn't have to worry about messing up the existing shelving. But can we just take a moment to look at how aesthetically pleasing this is to have these all lined up in a row? It might bother y'all that some of those lids are black and some of them are white. When I first purchased them, I thought they were going to bother me, but they don't. Before I decided to film this pantry refresh, I contemplated swapping these plastic containers out for glass, and I'll insert a clip here. I looked and found some really beautiful ones off of Amazon, but when it came down to it, it was just a big investment. I originally was planning on selling these ones, seeing if I could sell them, because it's a whole set. They're perfectly, with the good washing, they're perfectly clean, but I just couldn't justify getting rid of all of these. So this bottom shelf here was the main change that I made to this pantry. I typically had the baskets on this shelf here to the right, and I would throw like bread and just random things in there. And then I had the cereal in the front, which is the wall that you see when you're walking into the pantry. And I decided that I wanted to swap them because the kids access a lot of stuff and they don't always put it back nicely. And so I thought I would put more of the kid-friendly items to the right of the pantry on that right side wall, and then keep the baskets on this lower shelf here, so that when you walk into the pantry and you look at the containers with the flour and all that stuff and you look down, you see the basket, it will just look more visually appealing. Because if I'm being honest, this pantry door stays open 99% of the time. They just don't close the door and they don't turn the light off. And so I can't really control how it looks on a regular basis because it is a functioning pantry, but I could at least have it set up so that it looked more aesthetically pleasing from the kitchen or the living room view when you're looking in there. So these are the baskets that I purchased from Amazon, and these are the baskets that I've already had. Like I said, they are almost identical. Oops. So as of right now, I already have onions. We have these little potatoes. Normally we have some time. I bought squash because they had these. So it's like a little produce. How cute is that? I also have these limes and I have avocados.
That's all that we got left now, before the road will run out, before it's time for goodbyes. 4 miles until we're changing our lives. What's at the end of this ride? Don't know just where we'll arrive. You could be there feeling like yourself. I could be there, be somebody else. We could be alright. You could be there feeling like yourself. I could be there, be somebody else. We could be alright. No looking back, eyes on the road. Only thinking about where we're supposed to go. Don't have a map, just go with the flow. There's certain things we're not supposed to know. 4 miles That's all that we have left now. That's all that we had time for. Don't know just where we'll arrive, but you could be there feeling like yourself. I could be there, be somebody else. Yeah, we could be alright. You could be there feeling like yourself. I could be there, be somebody else. Yeah, we could be alright. But you could be there feeling like yourself. I could be there, be somebody else. We could be alright. You could be there feeling like yourself. I could be there, be somebody else. We could be alright. We could be alright. We could be alright. We could be alright.
So this is what we have so far. Canned goods are looking good. I'm probably going to put those up on the shelf somewhere. I'm going to put those over here. And then I cleared out one of those bins, and I'm going to put these protein shakes. These organic, there's only a couple in there, so I'm going to add those in there. Clear that up, and then I'm going to toss all of this in the recycle bin. It's a mess in here. There's a lot that needs to, it just keeps going. There's a lot that needs to be done. So canned goods, like jarred type backstock, that's going to have to stay like that. I don't want them in baskets, and like, I don't want to put stuff in stuff just for the sake of doing it. This works well of being able to see it. And I try to, since again, everything we buy in bulk, right? So we don't eat a ton of stuff. Everything allows us to make whatever it is we want to make with like the basics. So it's the same for the stuff up here. As you can see, there's like 2 pasta sauces. There's like 2 rows of apple cider vinegar. So I think we have like 4 bottles. So I just line them up and like move them to the front like a store shelf, you know, like a grocery store shelf. This needs to be just look better. This is where I keep all of my party stuff. So this whole area should be cleaned up, but that's probably not going to be a part of this video at all. But I will organize these. I have little hooks that you like. They're command hook type things that you can attach to the back, and then it helps to wrap the cord around, and then you can like, I don't know, it's like a cord collector hook that goes on the back of these, and I bought them a year ago and they're somewhere. So this whole thing needs to be cleared, but that's going to be separate. So this is done. I'm going to just get rid of some of the stuff that I don't need. Those are serving trays, like tiered trays that technically go in here. So I need another bin for that. And then cake stand can maybe come out here somewhere. And then I'm just going to slightly organize that. Seasonings, that's its own little section that I want to do. But here we are. So I also just recently had gone to Home Goods and bought a few more of these. And so I bought all of these together as a set, and then that probably wasn't a part of the set because it's shorter. It's the same brand, but it's not the set. So these ones are shorter. So these 2 go together, and then those go together. So I rearranged things. I'm going to probably use this here. And then I have this one, which is not the same brand, but it holds all of our teas, which we do definitely use and drink. And this is normally where I keep it. So I think I might empty this stuff out and leave it open for more snacks. We normally do have more like grab snack stuff for the kids, but I'm trying to cut back on like the processed packaged stuff. And I go in phases because I'll cut back and then we don't have any, and then I have to make it, and it requires a lot of effort. And then I go back to stocking up again. So I'm probably going to do that. I'm going to empty this stuff out and then put whatever we need here a little bit more organized, and then just leave those open so that when I do buy, there are other things that's the space that it's going to go. Oh, but again, these are going to go in there now.
4 miles, that's all that we got left now. Before the road will run out. Before it's time for goodbye.
All right, so this is dried oregano that I got because I wanted to make seasoning blends. So I'm gonna throw that up here. This is fish fry. Throw that here. Here's oatmeal that didn't fit in a container, so we just threw it in the bag. And so I need to make it a point to use this. I actually need to, I can make oatmeal balls with this. So I'll put it up to the side so that I can use it and not throw it away. And I'll make a small batch of oatmeal balls, like the protein balls.
No looking back, eyes on the road. Only thinking about where we're supposed to go. Don't have a map, just go with the flow. There's certain things we're not supposed to know. 4 miles, that's all that we have left now. That's all that we had time for. Don't know just where we'll arrive. But you could be there feeling like yourself. I could be there, be somebody else. Yeah, we could be alright. You could be there feeling like yourself. I could be there, be somebody else. Yeah, we could be alright. But you could be there feeling like yourself. I could be there, be somebody else. We could be alright. You could be there feeling like yourself. I could be there, be somebody else. We could be alright. We could be alright.
So I love the way it turned out. It's definitely meeting all of my dreams. It is giving Walmart grocery store shelves right over here with the top ramen, but it is absolutely meeting my Pinterest board dreams of a very aesthetic farmer's market, grocery store, pantry on this side, which is exactly what I wanted. As always, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in another.